Imagine being at the top of your class, maintaining a 4.0 GPA at Southern New Hampshire University. This is Tim's story. It's a story of a man who, against all odds, prioritized his thirst for knowledge. His dedication was unwavering, his focus razor-sharp. He was not just a student, he was a master of academia, a champion of intellectual pursuits. Each day, Tim committed himself to his studies, poring over textbooks and research articles, always striving for perfection. He had a passion for learning that was infectious, a discipline that was admirable. He was the epitome of academic excellence, a beacon of hope for those who dared to dream of a brighter future. He stood out not just for his brilliance, but for his unwavering commitment to maintaining a 4.0 GPA, a feat few could achieve. But behind this academic facade, Tim was fighting a battle few could see. Tim was lonely, a stranger in a crowd. He was a lover of people, yet he had no one to call his own. In the midst of his solitude, Tim yearned for connection, for intimacy. His heart, a vast ocean, was filled to the brim with love, yet he found no shore to wash upon. He was a paradox, a puzzle piece that didn't seem to fit anywhere. Amidst the sea of faces, he was an island, a solitary figure yearning for a bridge that seemed perpetually out of reach. You see, Tim had a knack for loving people. His heart, as vast as the universe, held an infinite amount of affection for others. He loved with a fervour that was rare, with a passion that was raw and unfiltered. He revelled in the joy of others. Their happiness was his happiness, their sorrows his own. Yet despite his capacity for love, he was left parched, his thirst for affection unquenched. His heart echoed with a profound loneliness, a void that seemed impossible to fill. He lived in a world bustling with people, yet felt unseen, unheard. He was surrounded by voices, yet lived in silence. His was a solitary journey, a trek through the wilderness of isolation. He yearned to share his world, his thoughts, his dreams, but found himself locked in a cage of solitude. His love for people was a double-edged sword. While it filled him with joy, it also served as a constant reminder of what he lacked. His heart, though brimming with love, was void of the reciprocation he so desperately sought. His affection for others only amplified the silence that echoed in his own life. And yet, through all his struggles, Tim remained a beacon of resilience. He loved, he lost, and still he loved again. His heart, though battered and bruised, never lost its capacity to care. His spirit, though tested, never wavered. But this loneliness was just the tip of the iceberg. Tim's life was marked by a series of abuses, physical, mental, and sexual. He was a silent victim, bearing his pain in solitude. In the quiet halls of Southern New Hampshire University, where he maintained a flawless 4.0 GPA, Tim carried a burden that many of us could scarcely imagine. A life punctuated by cruelty and torment, a life where love and affection were scarce commodities. His tormentors were relentless, their abuses physical and mental. The physical assaults were brutal, leaving scars that would fade but never truly disappear. But the mental attacks, those left wounds far deeper. Words, they say, can never hurt you, but they can. Words can cut deeper, linger longer, and hurt more than any physical blow. But this was not the end of Tim's suffering. He endured a violation most heinous, a sexual assault that left him feeling tainted and violated. This was a crime not of passion but of power. A violation of trust and a theft of innocence that left Tim feeling isolated and alone in a world that seemed to have turned its back on him. Yet, in the face of these trials, Tim stood resilient. A testament to the strength of the human spirit, Tim did not let these experiences define him. He chose to fight, to rise above his circumstances, to love where others only knew hate. He loved people, loved life. He was a lover and a fighter, a beacon of hope in a world that often seemed devoid of it. Tim's faith was his rock. His belief in God gave him the strength to carry on, to face each new day with courage and determination. He clung to his faith, let it guide him through the darkest of times. He was a testament to the power of faith, to the strength that can be found in belief. Yet, the worst was yet to come. His family, his brother Lenny, those he loved and trusted, turned against him. In the midst of his struggles, the people Tim expected to be his safe haven became the instigators of his pain. The betrayal he faced was not from strangers or distant friends, but from his own flesh and blood. His brother Lenny was supposed to be his ally, his confidant, the one person who understood the shared experiences of their lives. Yet Lenny chose to inflict physical pain on Tim, beating him up, adding to the emotional trauma that was already too heavy to bear. But physical abuse was not the only betrayal Tim had to endure from Lenny. The women Tim loved, the women he shared his heart and soul with, were not spared from Lenny's destructive path. Lenny, in the ultimate act of betrayal, took advantage of these women, breaking the sacred bond of trust between brothers. Each betrayal was a knife, cutting deeper into Tim's heart, the wound festering with the pain of deceit. His heart, once filled with love for his family and his brother, was now a battlefield, scarred by the wars of betrayal. Tim was left to pick up the pieces of his shattered trust, each shard a painful reminder of the love he had once freely given, now returned with treachery. His family, who should have been his fortress in the storm, became the storm itself. They turned their backs on him, leaving him alone in the cold, navigating the harsh realities of life without the warmth of familial love. They stripped him of his possessions, his home, his car, his driving license, leaving him with nothing but a broken heart and shattered dreams. The pain of these betrayals was not just physical or material. It was a deep emotional pain that penetrated the core of his being. The people he loved and trusted had turned against him, leaving him alone and heartbroken. These betrayals left Tim broken and alone. The echo of their laughter, the sight of their backs as they walked away, the emptiness of the house that was once his home, all served as constant reminders of the betrayal he had suffered. And yet, in the midst of it all, Tim held on, a testament to his resilient spirit. Accused and blamed, Tim was pushed into a corner with nowhere to go. Imagine a man, a scholar no less, with a perfect grade point average from Southern New Hampshire University, cornered not by his own misdeeds, but by the unjust accusations of those he held dear. The ones who were meant to be his sanctuary from the world, his family, were the very source of his torment. The unending cycle of blame and punishment was a ceaseless tempest in Tim's life. Seemingly innocent family gatherings morphed into full-blown trials, with Tim in the dock, charged with crimes he did not commit. His brother, Lenny, the instigator, the puppeteer, pulling the strings and orchestrating this grotesque charade. His girlfriends, too, were no refuge. Twisted by Lenny's manipulations, they turned on Tim, becoming willing participants in the game of deceit. They dialed the police, their voices trembling with feigned fear, spinning tales of danger and threat, all woven around Tim, the unsuspecting protagonist. And the police, they fell for the ruse. They saw a man, a supposed menace, and they acted. They stripped him of his rights one by one. They took away his house, his home, the place where he sought solace but found none. They seized his cars, his means of escape from the world that was closing in on him. And finally, they revoked his driving license, symbolically taking away his freedom, his ability to navigate the world on his own terms. And for what? For being a lover, a fighter, a man who loved to love people and everything in life. For being a man who loved God, who held firm to his faith even when the world seemed to be against him. The injustice of it was a bitter pill to swallow. A life stripped away bit by bit based on accusations and lies. The pain of it was tangible, a physical entity that gnawed at his insides, leaving him empty, void of the love he so desperately craved. Tim was left heartbroken, alone, and craving for love. This is Tim's story, a tale of resilience, strength, and the human spirit. Despite the harrowing trials he has faced, the physical and emotional abuse, the betrayal by those he held dear, Tim has remained a beacon of hope. His academic success is a testament to his unwavering determination, a testament to his spirit that refuses to be quelled. Tim's story is a poignant reminder of the loneliness that can lurk behind seemingly perfect exteriors. It's a reminder of the deep longing for love and connection that resides in each of us. Tim loves to love, despite the hurt he has endured. He is a lover and a fighter, a testament to human resilience. His faith in God remains unshaken, a beacon guiding him through the darkest of storms. In a world quick to judge, let's pause and empathize with Tim's situation. Everyone is fighting a battle we know nothing about. Let's be kind, always.